Most of us would do real well having a normal weight forward floating fly line when we're trout fishing. It's a line that's not overly heavy or overly long or has any weird taper changes on the front or the back of the fly line. Unfortunately, today's world we kind of tend to become specialists. So AIRFLO has a good old-fashioned standard line, but we've also branched out and offer lines that do special things for you that might help you get into more fish. Starting with our most aggressive line, the 40 plus fly line. It's a line that we developed, and in fact in England they say 25% more distance or your money back. We don't like to make claims like that, but in essence what the 40 plus fly line is a little bit shorter and a little bit heavier weight forward fly line with a slightly thicker tip diameter. So if you're casting into the wind, or let's say your strokes aren't perfect and your loops are a little bit wider, that little bit heavier tip helps kick that fly over and your line will straighten out better. So it's definitely a good line for distance, throwing into the wind, but on those days when you need to be a little bit more delicate, just back off on the power. The 40 plus is a great fly line. Comes in a 5 weight all the way through a 9 weight. You can get it in floating and intermediate. It's a huge family of fly lines, really popular. At the other end of the spectrum is something called our Sixth Sense line. It comes also in floating all the way to type 7. It's one of the most popular lake lines in Europe. Well, it also has a home here for me because I love using this line for my trout fishing. What the Sixth Sense is a longer belly. Instead of 35 feet like the 40 plus, this guy's all the way at the other end. It's 47 feet. It has about a 17 or 18 foot long front taper and finishes a little bit thinner. The thinner the front taper, the more energy dissipation. So when I'm throwing tight loops that I want to have land softly, the Sixth Sense line. The next step is our nymph taper, and the AIRFLO ridged nymph taper line is one that's a little bit more aggressive than a standard line, has a longer rear taper so you can mend, so it's a great line for nymph and indicator fishing. Also, I use this line when I'm throwing hoppers up against the bank, any more wind resistance fly, because it has a little shorter front taper. That just kicks that fly over just a little bit harder. When I don't know what I need and I'm fishing kind of a new stream or something, I grab my AIRFLO trout ridge line. It's just that good old line I talked about earlier. It's about a 40-foot long weight forward. It has about 7 feet of front taper. It's got loops at both ends. The ridge technology makes it slide really well. It's my day in and day out go-to fly line for trout fishing. So whether it's regular, heavy, light, or in between, there's going to be one of these lines that'll satisfy your needs.